Okay, I'm Chris Walton. I'm a meditation teacher.
I'm Dan Keneally and I'm a meditation teacher. We're going to talk about what we've been doing recently. So what's been going on, Chris?
Well, I'd like to talk about what I've been my meditation practice. So I've been practicing contemplation. This is my mentor has suggested this, and I won't go into too much detail about it, but it's been a total different way of thinking about it. You know, when someone can just say a word that changes your practice, or a phrase.
Mm-hmm.
And this is with contemplation that I'm processing the day, my experience through my stomach, the lower chakras, the lower energy centers, rather than the head. So just sitting, processing, but not in a thinky kind of way. And I think for a lot of people this might just seem like their mindfulness practice really, but just for me needing it to be just a bit more in the body, just a certain way that he said these things allows me to just drop into it in that way. And it's strange when someone just says something in a certain way and it just changes things in quite a big way.
That had quite a big impact on you then.
Yeah, it's been really good. And I've been practicing with like my eyes open some of the time.
Okay.
I don't have to be sat that still. I could be looking out at something. So yeah, I'm sure some people would say it's not meditation, or there'll be a great debate about it.
I like to define it by meditation and meditative.
Okay.
It just helps me separate activities that I would consider meditation, activities that I would consider being consciously or unconsciously in present moment awareness.
Yeah, nice.
And they can be meditative. Again, I'm sure people can have great long debates about the kind of semantics of what that means, but there needs to be some kind of distinction, I think.
Yeah.
Otherwise an element of correction can come in, or an element of that's not the way that you meditate.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be like that. It should be, I'm doing this new practice that my mentor suggested by a very simple phrase, or the way that they said something. Is it somatic? How are you connecting with your kind of lower energies? What are you doing?
So resting the awareness down into sort of the lower torso, the stomach. And
I love that phrase, by the way.
Yeah.
Resting awareness. It's one of my favourites.
So by going into that, feeling that area, your awareness kind of fills into it, comes out of the head, and just kind of letting it process. So it's not that feeling as if you're in the head still looking down at this stomach processing or the emotional processing of the body. It's because your awareness has gone down into there. You're kind of processing from there. You are there. Strange to put it into words, but those little things can make a big difference. That kind of top-down approach, you're looking down on something happening rather than being fully in it. These little changes can seem subtle, but they can have a big effect on the practice. And it's worked for me. I feel like I'm not carrying so much around, and I'm finding out about where I am in a way that I haven't as often with my other practices, my old practices. So yeah,
that's great.
Yeah.
So from a point of an observer, are you feeling separation from what you want to be separated from? Is that the kind of goal that you're having?
I know it's the other way really. With this not normally, but often with meditation, you're stepping back from the thoughts or the feelings and returning to the mantra or the breath. Say, this is kind of being in the processing. You don't, obviously, if you get stuck in taken away by thoughts, you step back and come back to the processing. So it's kind of a subtle change there. It's hard to talk about it, the difference, but it is a big difference. One of them is detaching from how you're feeling and feelings and stuff in a way. The other way is being in it But I will say that it's taken a lot of practice to be able to do this. My meditation practices, that kind of focusing on the breath, building up that concentration, has allowed me to be in those feelings without being lost in thought or going off into thought, that kind of thing.
Great.
Yeah.
That sounds really exciting.
Yeah. So what about yourself? What's been going on for you recently?
I've developed a course. Whether or not I was inspired by you talking about your recent mindfulness course or not, I had a conversation with a friend of mine who's a yoga teacher, and I was asking, do yoga teachers have regular meditation practices and routines? Because I'd not really seen that many yoga teachers on Instagram, for example, posting about meditation on a regular basis. And my understanding of yoga in the courses and the sort of philosophies that I've read is that meditation is almost the pinnacle of yoga in terms of having a meditative practice to connect with your inner source and then the source of infinite creativity, infinite potential. That was the goal of yoga, samadhi. And I wasn't sure if yoga teachers had a regular practice. Some do, I'm sure. Some don't, I'm also sure. So I asked a few people what they thought, and the response was, it would be great if someone wrote a meditation course for yoga teachers, because the yoga teacher training course, the meditation element is lacking in depth and accountability. They were the two biggest things that came up in my conversations. It's suggested and encouraged, but it's not emphasised as this is an integral part of your daily routine from now on. And we both know that a daily meditation practice can have, an amazing array of benefits for a yoga teacher and for their students as well, and their understanding of their connection on their own yogic journey. So I wrote a course based on my own meditation course. I just picked a date in August. 2 people signed up within the first week who I was speaking to about the course. Venues booked, and it's one of those things that happened really quickly. I'd be interested to ask about your mindfulness course and how long it was in the planning, but the planning for this in about 2 weeks.
That's good.
And it's been really, really well received. I'm excited to do something that's niche. Something that goes a little bit deeper and a little bit more spiritual than maybe my beginner's meditation courses, because the yoga teachers have already got that experience and connection. They just need to sort of fill in a few of the gaps and have something a little bit more substantial.
That's really interesting. It makes me realise I've never really thought about that, but obviously yoga and meditation were obviously from the same place and intertwined.
Intrinsically linked. Intrinsically linked,
That's such a good idea. What? We were going to say, would you just share on? You said deeper and integrity. Was it accountability?
Yes.
So what sort of thing will they get from the course that you're thinking?
So the depth will be in the experience. The experience that they're going to get on the course will be to learn a technique and to learn the attitudes towards the technique that will help them have a really deeply rich meditation practice that they can take with them and use every day. Because it comes from the same traditions as their own yoga practice from the Vedic traditions. There's so much overlap in some of the subject matter and the sort of levels of consciousness, the layers of life. There's all these kind of philosophical fundamentals attached to many of the kind of Vedic and Vedanta teachings that are in the yoga teacher training, and they're in the meditation teacher training as well. And you can really mix them together to kind of merge the two practices together. I think that's the real value in the fact that it's an enrichment of their own yoga practice rather than an add-on. And the accountability part will be, I'm building a community of meditators essentially. It's my whole goal is to build a community of meditators, people who meditate regularly, to raise the collective consciousness. It's as simple as that. And I think a lot of yoga teachers don't have that meditation community for accountability and inspiration to help them drive that practice forward. They can often feel that they're on their own a little bit. and then they're just teaching and teaching and teaching. Whereas to have a meditation group of people who are sharing similar experiences as them, having gone through similar experiences, I think will just really help them feel part of something much wider. And it's that community element that I'm really keen to grow further. And I think that's what people really enjoy, feeling part of a group. We've seen that in the work that we do together.
It's special, I love it, Probably my favourite part.
I think so. Shared experience. It's why group meditations are so good. You get an energy in group meditations that you don't get from meditating on your own. Not to say that meditating on your own is any less quality, but there's something really special about a group, and having a group for accountability and inspiration, and to help you on your journey and to share, go on retreats with, have group meditations online, in person, regularly feeling part of something. It's very tribal, and I think as human beings we're really attracted to the tribal elements of human nature, those positive tribal elements.
It isn't it human nature, it's natural.
Yes,
and we're missing it a lot of the time.
Everything's so fragmented. There's so much separation out there, and people feel that they're not part of something let's say positive. We could all think of groups of people that maybe have negative connotations, but to be part of a group whose aim is to raise the collective, who wouldn't want to be part of that?
That sounds great. Well, looking forward to you coming back and telling us how it's going.
Sure.